So we've made our way to the set of NBC's Education Nation, and we're now joined by former First Lady Laura Bush, and she has made education her signature issue during her husband's administration, and she's carrying on her work through the George W. Bush Presidential Center in Dallas. Mrs. Bush, what a pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning, Nan.
Welcome back to our broadcast. You know, you have spent so many years as an elementary school teacher, as a librarian, but now when it's possible for you to rest on your laurels, you're still working on education. Why are you still working on this challenge?
Well, because I'm still interested in education, and I think it's very important for everyone to continue to work on education and talk about education. And it's never over. It's something we have to work on every year because there's a new class that comes in, or there's a new group of teachers that start teaching for the first time. It's really important for our children and frankly for our whole country that we try to really make sure children all over our country get a great education.
One of the initiatives from the Bush Institute specifically focuses on principals, training principals. Now, why this focus on principals? Why are principals so important?
Principals are the ones who structure the school. They're the ones who really have the way to help their teachers and children succeed. They're the ones who can change the curriculum if they see that what they're doing isn't working. So it's really important. There are also only about 90,000 principals nationwide. There are probably 6 or 7 million teachers. Principals are the ones who can make sure that every year children have an effective teacher. We know that what really makes children have a good education is if they have an effective teacher every single year. And principals can make sure that happens.
They're the leaders.
They're the leaders. They're the leaders of the schools. And so what we've announced is called ARREL. It's the Alliance to Reform Educational Leadership. We're working with principal preparation programs around the country. We're working with the colleges of education, with large school districts, with state school districts. We're looking at all the different ways principals are prepared and recruited. And then what we want to do is help other school districts and other states really figure out, instead of reinventing the wheel, really figure out the ways they can make sure their principals are both prepared to be great leaders and to structure really great schools, and also that their principals have the authority aligned with their responsibility to make sure their schools are excellent.
How widespread is this effort to train these principals? How many principals do you hope to train? What's the goal?
Well, our goal really is in 10 years to have half of those 90,000 principals certified in some sort of certification or training. It's a very big and audacious project. Right now, we're just at the stage where we're working with all these different groups who do principal training and principal recruitment to figure out what are the best practices and how can we get those best practices out to school districts everywhere.
Meantime, I need to ask you, just last week, the Education Secretary, Arne Duncan, announced that there would be some adjustments in the No Child Left Behind policy. With the passage of time and sort of the opportunity to look at something with 20/20 hindsight, is it possible that adjustments make sense now, that it's time to relook at No Child Left Behind?
Absolutely. I mean, we know that on any legislation, that as time goes on, it's a good idea to examine it to see what's really working in legislation and what can be changed, and I think that's what has happened. They've looked at it and they have these ideas, but one of the things they say that we certainly agree with is that accountability is very important. If we don't measure and assess our students' progress, then we won't know how they are progressing and what we can do to change to make sure we're addressing the needs that they have. And that's one of the things that accountability does. It gives us the chance to diagnose the problems in education and then to come up with the solutions or the right curriculum or the most effective way to train teachers to take care of those problems.
You talk about coming up with right solutions, but we're living through such a contentious time, as you know, Ms. First Lady. I mean, do you believe that we can actually solve these problems of education given these times?
I do. I mean, I think it's something that we'll work on forever. It isn't something we'll finish tomorrow, but I do think we can. It's not a zero-sum game. There's not just one way to do anything. There's a myriad of ways to do it, and we know that. We can tell that charter schools are successful in many cases, that all boys education or all girls education, and many public school districts, especially large urban school districts, are trying to offer their children in their districts a myriad of possibilities. Magnet schools that just emphasize science and math, or the arts, or other ways to help children be successful, and then to really be able to graduate a high school with a good job opportunity or a chance to go to college.
All right, we're going to continue our conversation here at Education Nation, but now we're going to say goodbye to our audience at the Today Show and tell you that you can watch more of this conversation if you'd like on educationnation.com and msnbc.com. Meantime, there's much more coming up on the Today Show. This is Today on NBC.